You're watching the Comcast Network. CN 100, Chicago.
How did you come up with the name The Miracle Center?
Honestly, one day I was at church, and there was this young preacher. He was probably about 18 years old, and he was preaching, and in my head, what I heard was the name of the center is The Miracle Center, where children's dreams become a reality. And that was it.
I dare not to think of a time where we don't have the Miracle Center in this community. It's a sense of family, a sense of unity, and it brings the community together.
Every time I come to Chicago, I come to the Miracle Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Miracle Center.
If it weren't for places like the Miracle Center, I don't know where I would be.
What's great about the Miracle Center is that they pull out that potential in you.
So diverse here, and it's amazing. And we're a family. There is a place for everybody here, regardless of your interests. I'm so grateful for the Miracle Center. Miracle Center is a miracle to me and in my life and to my family.
It is a home for hope. It is a place for direction. It is a program that allows young people to look at their future and find the right path. And then they become all they can be through the magic of stage and theater. It's like a miracle. I'm Paul Lisnek, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Miracle Center.
I always talk about the kids and the parents and the staff, and the wonderful thing about this organization is that it's led by two remarkable women, Mary Santana, Vanessa Torres. I want them to come on up, tell you a little bit.
Welcome, welcome. Like she said, my name is Mary Santana. I'm the founder and executive director of the Miracle Center, and I've been doing this for about 23 amazing years. We have a lot of programs here. We service about 54 teens who actually get stipend to be in our program.
I'm Vanessa Torres, the communications director here. But you know what? A testament to what Mary has done here for the past 23 years, I started when I was 10 years old. 23 years later, doing what I love because this is my community. These are mi gente, these are our kids. We're telling our story.
Well, Mary and Vanessa, what can I say? Mary and Vanessa are quite a combo.
The powerhouse girls.
They feel like two mothers of the Miracle Center.
Mary and Vanessa are the backbone of this whole place.
The dynamic duo, as I call them.
Mary, Vanessa, sitting with you, I know I'm not the only one to call you the dynamic duo. So Mary, I want to start with you. I mean, this was your vision initially, but there is now a dynamic duo. So talk to me about the importance of working with Vanessa and you together.
Well, you know, I've had Vanessa in the center since she was 10 years old, and I was able to just really mentor her, and she just latched on, and she has some amazing strengths, and I think we just work well together. I mean, knowing that she was also a participant in the Miracle Center and being with me for so many years, she knows what's important to me and the values of the Miracle Center.
And Vanessa, lots of kids come in when they're so young. Maybe not all at 10, but they move on, they go on, they have their careers and their lives. You stayed.
Well, like Mary said, I've been with her since I was 10, under her wing, and, you know, being here is home. But she took me under and became my mentor, and that's lifetime mentorship. So she's seen me through my ups and downs, and I was a participant and instructor. I went off to college. I came back to be a full-time employee, and you see that the culture that she has developed here is so important because it's about your employment, your personal life, emotional, spiritual. Even the value of that is important to me too.
Mary, do the kids understand that when they come in here, I know they're coming to do a show, they get to appear in Trek. Do they understand that it's bigger than that?
I don't think so. Not in the beginning. One, it's a job, and they're getting paid. Hey, we're getting paid, it's a job, and yes, we're gonna do theater. But I don't really think when they come in, they know that, but we do because we see the potential.
And they're mentored and facilitated by professional artists that we have here. And then when they find their area, you start to see them bloom.
What the Miracle Center is all about is really enhancing the skills that these students or participants already have. And when we say skills, we can even touch on the direction of their lives.
Definitely the best part of this job is being able to change kids' lives.
You guys are stage right and stage left? Yes?
This, I think, is my favorite job I've ever had.
I don't even really consider it a job when I come here. It's not even work because I love what I do.
It's not only about the full production, it's really about the complete process that we look at and the success at the end.
Okay, our next presentation will be Anais, who will be dancing to Like That.
I met Mary when I was 10 years old, but I started with the Miracle Center when I was 12. So I started as a participant, and they hooked me with dance. Dance has been my life. It's been my passion. So I was able to spend my summers doing something that I love to do, which was dance and be with my friends. And the relationships that I built were just amazing. So I just continue to be a part of the Miracle Center.
I am a freshman in high school, and I have been with the Miracle Center for a little over a year, and I auditioned for Hairspray.
Brought to you by Ultra Hairspray.
I am in the theater ensemble and mostly dance ensemble because I'm one of the main dancers for each show.
So I've been in the center, the Miracle Center, for about a year, I guess you could say. I started in fame over the summer. First I did like costume, and then I switched over to photography because I told them I was interested in still. This session I'm in photography.
Well, I found the Miracle Center. My sister actually started here first before me, and I was with another After School Matters program, but it got shut down. And they were hosting auditions for Hairspray, but I missed the audition date. But Mary said that I could be a part of the team. And I joined in Hairspray, and it was a lot of fun.
Hey, Mama, welcome to the 60s. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, Mama, welcome to the 60s.
I got involved in the Miracle Center. I was about 15. I remember Vanessa called me and offered me a position in the community asset mapping program. We were talking about assets that existed in our community, which was Belmont-Cragen, and we went to parks talking about how parks can be an asset to your community and bring communities together. And some of the people who were actually in that program I still talk to, so it was really great.
For me, it's pretty simple. What we're trying to do with the Cook County with violence prevention is invest in programs in the community that serve the kids in the community. When you can have the majority of the kids, whether it be in Logan Square, Belmont-Cragen, Hermosa, out of school, go to a place that is in their neighborhood where they feel safe, where their parents could come in and interact. And to have kids give back to their community and do shows, that speaks volumes.
One of my nieces has actually been in a production. She was on the production of Hairspray. So it's personal to me and my family. As a state legislator, the finances from the state sometimes isn't a guarantee. So I want to make sure that I'm doing as much as I can to, number one, show my support. It is, I'd say, a gem in our community. There's not a lot of community programs that offer something to kids to express themselves in different ways and through the arts especially. And the Miracle Center is doing that here in the Hermosa community. That's an amazing thing.
In the west side of Chicago, we have a lot of drugs, there's a lot of gangs, there's a lot of stuff, negative stuff. But I think we have an ideal location right here. People on the buses can see it. There's a lot of traffic because we're on Pulaski and Fullerton. These are kind of like main arteries in Chicago. So this has given us a real visible presence here. It's an open door in the community.
Welcome to 2311 North Pulaski, the Miracle Center. Right now, we have 65 teams currently in rehearsal. We're gonna take you inside, so let's go. Welcome to TMC. So let me take you inside TMC when you first walk in. You've stepped into the foyer, and I wanna show you something so special to us. It's the foundation of TMC, Mary's family. She's one of 10, and right when you walk into the lobby, you see her siblings here. To my left, you have the set design of Beauty and the Beast. It was a pivotal moment here at TMC when we decided to go full on with musical productions. We have the whole entire set design here, right when you walk in. Let's get started in the lobby, which is my favorite piece. Each detail of production and props are housed here, just like a museum. But then we have a special wall of celebrities who have given and contributed to the Miracle Center and supported us. And you take a look to my left over here, you'll see a huge hairspray can from our last production of Hairspray. And I want to introduce to you two special people, Theo Rich and Theo Ray, also known as TMC Theos. They're the uncles who have helped us build, design, and decorate TMC, and they're Mary's brothers. We're ready to give you a tour of TMC, but I'm not gonna do it by myself. I have a talented TMC student with me, Nitsa Rosario, who's been with us for how long?
13 or 14 years now.
And what shows have you done here?
My first of many was How the Grinch Stole Christmas, where I played the Grinch himself.
All right, let's give him a tour.
Let's go.
We're gonna start with a dance studio. Welcome to the dance studio.
To our right, you have Ariana Perez, our assistant choreographer, helping some of our TMCers learn the choreography for our upcoming musical event.
But we use this room in many different ways. We've done master classes with Maria Torres, and this is also our children's theater.
Our dance room is actually one of our prized possessions. Before, in our older buildings, we would only have one multi-purpose room, but now that we have a room dedicated to dancing only, it makes it much easier to rehearse for our productions.
We appreciate having the space, and we have a custom dance floor dedicated for our students who are ready to rehearse.
Phoebe, let's show them the big theater.
Let's go. Let's see where all the magic happens. So we're in the theater, currently in rehearsals, and as you can see behind me, we have our youth theater director, Hunter, who's working with our students.
And right behind us is also our choreographer, Cassie.
It's full action here. Tons of noise, a lot of kids. We have 65 students who are in the cast and the crew, which is phenomenal because they take ownership of their entire production.
This is really where you get to see everything come to life.
We host 240 audience members here throughout all of our productions. And the stage also changes. It's remarkable how nothing is ever the same. Each production, something magical happens. It's live theater for the community, brought to you by the community. Now we're gonna go to our favorite part of the musical production.
Let's go behind the scenes.
We'll take you there. Let's get a glimpse into the stage and design crew.
One of the many things very special about the Miracle Center is that our set designs for our musical productions are all made by our set designers.
Youth-led, youth-driven. Each piece of the stage created by them. So let's come and take a closer look.
Welcome to TMC's infamous costume closet,
where we have years and years of costumes from all of the productions that we have done here.
We've had TMC moms, along with our TMC kids, design most of these costumes.
And at one time, all of these costumes were housed in Mary's basement. What's production without sound and lighting? Let's take a peek into our sound booth. Say hey, guys. Here's Xavier and Renee. They work on the lighting and the sound design during some of their teen productions. They take full ownership of all the sound and lighting that happens during productions here. Youth-led and youth-driven. We are in the office area, the arts administration portion. So I'm gonna show you each of our desks here. This is my area, and my favorite part is this signed poster by Rita Moreno, back when she did West Side Story as Anita. And I'm gonna introduce you to someone special as well. Wes, where are you at? There's Wes. He's our film director, photographer here at the Miracle Center. He does all the headshots, works on portfolios for all of our actors, and here are some of his glorious pictures that he's taken over the years. The Wall of Fame at TMC. And you meet some of our interns that we have back here. There's Rolly, Ashley.
Next, we would like to show you the big boss's office, or as we like to call her,
Mama Mary. Hey, Mama!
We're just here to give a tour.
Don't mind us, we're gonna show them all of the little museum pieces here. And one of our favorite is Grandma Alicia. Back in 2014, when we opened up our show of In the Heights, we dedicated a show to Grandma Alicia.
Here we have another special piece made by one of our set designers, Katie. There are many different fabrics and pieces from 4 of our different shows: Chicago's Puerto Rican Story, The Wizard of Oz, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Beauty and the Beast.
Mama Mary has beautiful pieces here. A dedication to our own island of Puerto Rico, where there's a coquille in my shoe. We have tons of memorabilia from Lynn in Hamilton, and special dedication to her siblings over here and over here. And they're right here in the office as well.
Can't take it no more. We gotta quit. We're leaving. That's it.
What? Come back. We need you. We need you. But this is Mama. Mama, who's I don't know, but she's a visionary. She's the heart of TMC. She keeps a heartbeat here, and we love her, and we just appreciate her here. And I don't want to give her a speech, Mama. I just love you. But this is us every day.
All right, so redo?
Yeah, we do. I built some very meaningful relationships here. My best friend was here with me. Mary was my mentor, so that was someone that I always looked up to. So I came here knowing I came to a safe space every summer.
I've had Anais since she was 12 years old. She became my choreographer.
Even at a young age, I was the main choreographer. So every summer I performed in our summer showcase. So in high school, they presented the year-round program with the Miracle Center, and they had asked me to be a part-time counselor. So I was like, I am all about this. That was a win-win for me. I was able to do something I really loved and also have a job as a teenager.
I had her as a camp counselor. I mean, she basically ran the Miracle Center along with a bunch of other teens that I had.
And I was going into college, and Mary presented a full-time job opportunity for me. So I was the after-school program coordinator and the lead choreographer as well. That's when I was able to, choreograph our productions. We did a lot of great shows, and it was a great time.
I got involved in the Miracle Center. That was around the time of the recession. So just really looking for a way to make income as a young teen. My mom actually lost her job in the recession. So finding After School Matters was really helpful in that regard, where money was hard to come by for my family, and I feel like that really helped me, and I feel like it helped me build my resume to go to college.
Samantha's story is a very interesting story because she grew up in a sort of rough situation in the neighborhood. And one thing about Samantha is when you see her, and when I saw her for the first time, she came in and just her posture and her body language said it all.
With some dysfunction at home and my mom losing her job, it allowed me to not only make money, but there were many places that I wasn't allowed to go because our community wasn't safe. So it was a place that I could go and I could make money and I could have a few friends. Being involved in the Miracle Center, I felt like it added a sense of normalcy to my life that otherwise I don't think I would have had.
Doing shows of this magnitude requires a lot of teamwork. So there are 3 of us as instructors, and we each have 15 to 18 kids directly under us, but we really work as a unit.
You try to see who's going to be on stage versus this is their first time in a theater. And so you try to, feel them out at first and try to put them into different groups that we have, tech and design and costuming or, front of house marketing. And then they start finding the niche and then they start asking questions.
We all sort of supervise every aspect of the group. We all work with every kid individually at some point in time, but I'm in charge of the dance.
So this is on a brand new start, a palette, as fresh as
I love what I do here. I love, creating images. I love taking pictures of the students in their prime. And being an instructor, seeing the impact of the teens is it's just one of those aspects that really keeps me here.
Coming here and working with a program like After School Matters that actually pays these teens to work in theater and create something, and instilling the idea that their work is worth not just their time and energy, but it's worth enough to be paid. And as an artist, that's just invaluable.
They did all the costumes, they did all the makeup, they did all the set design, they did all the light design. They're back there doing their costume changes. Everything is theirs. And watching them take ownership of that and just create this thing that they're really proud of is really special. And we can give them as much direction as we want to, but really at the end of the day, when the lights go down, it's their show.
And beyond the performance, Mary, the parents' involvement. I think I'm thinking of Snack Mom. Somebody who gets involved, whose kids are involved and they want to play a bigger role, and the program becomes important even to them.
Absolutely, and that's because we want to make sure that when we look at our kids, we look at them holistically. So we try to get the parents involved, and we have Renette, who has just brought a bunch of parents together and feed our children every day, which is an amazing opportunity for our kids to eat because some of them don't eat.
I come in, I feed these children. Some of these kids, sometimes this is the only meal of the day that they get.
I mean, that's the reality of the kids that we work with. I mean, some of them don't eat. They have a lot of challenges in their home, and theater is very therapeutic.
And they come hungry, and so I first started making grilled cheese sandwiches. I brought my little panini machine from home and just making grilled cheese sandwiches, and I was called the grilled cheese mom. It's like, she's here. The kids come, they see me, and they're like, yes, she's here, we're gonna eat today. It's more than just, feeding them. It's, showing them respect as well and showing them love. And this comes from a place of love. I want my children to be able to succeed in life, and so I'm being that example for them so that they say, hey, you know what? My mom was there. She did this not just for me, but for all my friends and all the kids that are part of this program.
My mom actually told me about my audition. I had never heard of the Miracle Center before, and I was interested, and I'm like, okay, I'll do this audition. And when I got the role and I did the production, I fell in love with the Miracle Center, and I said, I want to keep coming here no matter what. I'm going to keep coming every session.
Jocelyn has been one of our tried and true kids. She started out in the ensemble of Hairspray, and we quickly realized that she is a very talented dancer.
It's what she loves, and it's what she wanted to do, and I knew that she wanted to be in performance. And so it was an opportunity that was presented to us, and we decided to run with it, and here we are, a year later.
Jocelyn is just Jocelyn. She came in and she was just like a little firecracker. And she didn't realize how much potential she had until we literally threw her into all of these different productions.
Every session we're able to give her more work to do and bigger challenges, and she always rises to the occasion.
And now you see Jocelyn, and she just shines, and she just takes the stage, and she commands the stage with her own presence.
It's been really cool to watch her grow as a performer and realize I can give her more responsibility. I can have her work with other kids, and she's really become a leader in the group.
We've seen her grow in so many special ways, not just as an artist, but as a person.
Here, you're comfortable and you feel at home. That's how I feel. When I first stepped into the Miracle Center, I was really shy. I was at an audition. I didn't really know anybody. And coming to the Miracle Center more, getting to know more people from different schools, different grades, and different races and everything, it makes me feel home because I get to be more comfortable with everyone.
The Miracle Center really helped me as a photographer, from getting help from like Wes and really giving me gigs, I guess you could call them. When they ever have like, oh, we need pictures, I'm the guy to, come to.
Jacob was interesting. I talked to his mother first.
Well, we always go to her restaurant first and foremost. Maricel is actually one of the owners of Ponce Restaurants. So when we have our galas, we actually cater from Ponce Restaurant. So she's a big part of our family here as well.
One time we were doing a delivery because I work for Ponce Restaurant, and Mary had ordered a catering order. That was my first time seeing this whole venue, so I was excited. I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful, and it's just around the corner. I never knew it was here. So I came and I asked her, oh, they had kids here and stuff like that. I'm like, well, my son is sophomore at the time.
She was mentioning her son, so she was mentioning Jacob. Like, she has a son, he's into photography, but I don't really know kind of what to do.
Here goes a year later, Jacob is here. And he loves it. He does photography, editing, he loves it.
She was mentioning he's getting into photography, but she wants to get him, more help and stuff so he can develop.
Well, Jacob was timid, very quiet, very to himself. And I had given him a camera for his 16th birthday to have him find something that he would like to get him out of that box.
So when I actually initially met him, he showed me some of his work. He was really into, and still is, really into shoes. He loves taking pictures of shoes. But I was able to analyze his pictures and stuff, and I saw that he does have an eye for it. And I told him, you have an eye for this. Yeah, you might need some technical help here and there, but you could tell it's there. I could always tell when somebody has that natural talent.
In college, I plan to be a theater major or musical theater major. And what we take away from the Miracle Center is they help you strengthen those skills that you would learn in college. And I could take that and apply it to my performance. And since this also is a paid program, I get to experience that side too as a professional.
I've actually known Zoe since she was a baby. I used to go to church with her mom. So I knew she always had this amazing talent, and when she came to the Miracle Center and performed in Hairspray, she was actually an ensemble member. And for the last 2 shows, she ended up being a principal character. So she has grown immensely.
Well, as a lead role, me playing Donkey, I have to spend a lot of time at home rehearsing, and if I still have questions, I can come here and ask the directors and the choreographers, like, hey, I was struggling with this, and then they help me work on it.
Zoe has been a huge part of the Miracle Center for us. She started out in the ensemble and since has grown in a huge, huge way.
She has this incredible ability to commit 100% to everything that she does, and that's not something you can teach.
What do you know about rescuing a princess?
I've read the stories.
And I've read the sports page, but that doesn't make me a hockey player.
When you're learning about your character, they help you do this activity where you find the things that you can relate to. And you're like, oh, I can relate to that, so I'm gonna put some of myself into that.
Have you ever met a person and they're like, let's go get some parfaits, and then they say, I don't like no parfaits.
Donkey, he likes eating parfaits, and one of his lines are, parfaits may be the most delicious thing on this whole planet. And I can agree with that.
She is what we call the torch. We have kind of appointed her as our student leader to really help foster team spirit with the rest of our students. And she just always rises to the occasion and goes above and beyond anything we ask her to do.
And she's just awesome. She's gonna be super successful. She has a great personality and she just has a lot going on for herself.
It's honestly hard to really put into words the joy that we get teaching teens like Zoe, like Jocelyn, because they have this, I don't know, current in them, the drive that you don't see in a lot of teens.
I've seen these kids grow on so many levels, and something I think makes the Miracle Center very unique is that we get kids from every walk of life. So we have kids who do have a lot of theater experience, but we also have kids who've never been on stage before in their life, which makes it a challenging process, but I also think a really special process.
And that is sort of the other side of the beautiful coin of working with a program like this.
I know, Mary, every show is special. Every show is kind of like a child of its own. But I know there's one show, if you were to pick one to go, this one changed the world for us, maybe you have one.
In the Heights, 2014, we purchased this property and it was home for us. And we wanted to make sure that when we were embedded in this community that they knew that it was going to be their home as well. And when we opened up our doors, that they were welcomed here. And just the whole storyline of In the Heights actually is home. It's, the Latino culture. And we had 10 sold-out shows and everybody was so happy to be involved and to see something that related to them.
One of the other reasons In the Heights I think was so important, it brought a very special person into your life. You had the opportunity to kind of send word back to Lin-Manuel Miranda, his family, that this show was going on. How did that happen?
Well, we connected with Luis, his father, Luis Miranda, back in 2014. While we were in the middle of our run, we had our email blast go out, and Mariah from Allied Live at the time, she shot over the email to Luis and said, hey, we have a Latino theater company who's doing In the Heights. We had done an interview with WGN, myself, Mary, and my brother Carlos, who played Usnavi, and they caught their attention as well, and even Lynn tweeted about it. So we screenshot it, and Luis emailed Mary over and said, I have some merchandise that I would love to send you guys, and we looked at each other, we were so excited, and I said, we'll be there tomorrow in New York at 6 a.m. We took a flight, my mom works for American Airlines, and we just hopped on a flight, and he opened up his heart and his office and sat down with us for 2 hours and just shared with us the importance of In the Heights and what it also meant for us as well.
I got to see the relationship with, the Miranda family develop.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Miracle Center.
When Lynn got his award at the National Puerto Rican Museum of Arts and Culture, we got to perform for him. And we got to perform the In the Heights song that was so important to the Miracle Center, of being home. It was very emotional. From my perspective, I knew how important that show was And to see them perform for the creator of the show, it was just magical. Like, you see the reaction. Lin-Manuel, like, actually got up, standing ovation. He's wiping away tears, and, you know, it actually got to him. It's almost like you're receiving his blessing, that he loves what you do.
Come on, welcome to the Miracle Center.
Thank you, guys.
So yeah, right after that performance, he actually came to the Miracle Center the next day and did a Q&A with the teens. And he just loved seeing how this place functions, and it's like we've brought him into our home.
This is your Christmas card.
It was so surreal that our kids are normally on 100 here, and when Lynn walks in the theater, you know, they're like, yay, yay, yay. But when he sits down and we all sit down and he's like, well, does anybody have any questions? It was literally like everybody was starstruck. It was like, where are we? Are we at TMC or what happened?
In the spirit of Hispanic Heritage Month, I just want everybody to be grateful and happy. My emotions going into when Lin-Manuel Miranda first came to the Miracle Center were very high. That was almost a sense of validation and justification of all the hard work my mother, our family, our staff has put into building the Miracle Center for all those years. For 21 years. TMC started 21 years ago.
Yes.
Hard work, dedication, consistency.
Yes.
That's what she put into TMC, and this is where we're at today. So we can please give my mother a big. It was a moment of elation because it was saying, hey, you know, what we've been doing is working. What we've been putting together for so many years is what people need.
All right, we have Lin-Manuel in the house. Welcome to TMC, Lin. This is what we do. This is how we do it.
To have such a creative talent and genius, if you will, come and support our mission and vision was extremely, extremely, extremely humbling.
On Friday at TMC, we have Freestyle Friday. So I'm going to have Nate drop us a beat.
And I just remember sitting there and I'm looking over and I'm like, is this for real? You know, am I sitting here and there's Lin-Manuel Miranda and his dad? And it was just, I just had an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, this is Lin-Manuel Miranda. What is on the agenda? I'm discussing Hispanic Heritage Month with the Miracle Center.
Just saying, here we are, this little theater company in Logan Square / Hermosa, and here we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator, the genius of Hamilton, in our home. How cool is that?
From the Vanessas, and yes, talk about Puerto Rico with my people. Here we go.
Come on, Lin-Manuel, as part of our Puerto Rican legacy, he's a living legend.
Dog, we're gonna rep this little island all the way to Humboldt Park.
To have Lin-Manuel and his dad putting us under their wing in a sense, and for us to be a part of their world is so special to us. We are so indebted to their family.
Mary, how did all this begin? Talk about your upbringing, because obviously something led you to want to do this, so give us the story.
Well, I come from a family of 10. I'm the baby, and we were inner city kids, and we actually used the arts as a way, as an outlet for self-expression. We're poor. I mean, we had a really rough upbringing, and hold on a second, because I'm getting emotional.
We were born to do the arts, and we just found any empty parking lot or anywhere we could just perform to act silly and almost to get out of our pain and our misery sometimes, but we loved it because we grew and we had fun and we were able to just enjoy each other.
There's always been a magic in the theater that has always drawn us to that. And it's been a special part of our family. I don't know how it just kind of ingrained in us.
I remember walking down Milwaukee Avenue with my brother. I had to be about 5 years old, and there was a broken down trailer, and he was holding my hand, and he said, Mary, one day we're gonna do theater on the street.
The semi had like it was open on the side of it, and you can actually drop it down, so it was kind of like a mobile stage. And I said, and she was really small. I said, Mary, I said, you watch, one day we're gonna be doing theater. We're gonna be going all over the place with this thing. And little did I know that it was just like a dream that actually has been fulfilled.
I was working for Teen Magazine, and in 1995 I decided to quit my job because I was a single mom and I wanted to spend more time with my son. And I started a day camp out of my basement apartment with 10 kids.
The Lord placed in my heart a vision to give back to the neighborhood, to touch into those talents and those gifts that are dormant in the children in terms of the arts. So this is what what the Miracle Center is all about.
When my mother first started the Miracle Center, I actually remember it very vividly. She started it out of our basement apartment at the time. I don't remember the year, but I remember that it was my home. I was pretty excited about it at first. Then you start to realize when I saw my mother having to do work after the kids left that this wasn't a summer job, but that this was going to be something that was going to be in our lives forever.
Adrian and I are best friends. I mean, I was 18 when I had Adrian, so we grew up together. And Adrian actually is like an old soul. He's always been sort of an introvert, very smart, very witty, totally different than myself.
Mary actually started the Miracle Center out of a dream to help her son, to spend more time with him.
I didn't understand that my mother was absolutely doing it for me. I just thought that this was an opportunity for me to spend the summer with my friends.
It was never nothing like this. It started in a basement. We've been in church basements. We would practice literally in stairwells. We've been like everywhere and anywhere to do productions.
I was in the Hermosa community. I've been in the Hermosa community for over 23 years, and I've been in the YMCA, I've been in the Logan Square Boys Club, in churches. We literally moved around in different locations, and I thought, my gosh, we're gonna be moving around so much. One day we'll have our building. Will we have our building? And yes, we are in our own home right now. But I realized that it gave me the opportunity to see what other programs were doing, so it was a plus for me.
This is a sign that says the Miracle Center. And I know that in the future that we're going to have our own place. So.
My mother, she gave me a lot of autonomy growing up. And as opposed to being a participant, she would allow me to serve as a counselor. She would allow me to kind of work with her on the operation.
He had really no desire in terms of acting, singing, or dancing, but when he was there, it was like partners in crime.
She would allow me to understand the kind of inner workings of starting a business. So it was always a very high sense of responsibility, and that's how I grew as a person at such a young age.
Being able to be with his friends, that was Vanessa and Anais, they all grew up together.
That's what I love about the Miracle Center is the autonomy that Mary gives us. We were 15 years old running the Miracle Center. I tell her sometimes, you're crazy for doing that. But it was the trust and the love and just running with the vision. And I think that's what she saw in all of us.
What's great about the Miracle Center is that they pull out that potential in you. I knew college was a life goal for me. I was in that stage of like not knowing what I wanted to do. And mentorship was a big thing for me. I received mentorship from Mary, and I was able to mentor the students that came through the Miracle Center and invest in the students' lives here. And one of my coworkers, her name's Elsa, she pulled me to the side and she's like, have you ever heard of social work before?
I think one of the things that the Miracle Center taught Anais is about youth development.
I enjoyed doing one-on-ones with my students and mentoring them. I also, even their parents, they would come and meet with me, and we would have just like sessions of talking about how to find resources for them to better their situation, right? So I was just naturally doing that. I didn't know there was a title for it.
We have one last thing for you.
A special piece by our very own Anais Zayas is my TMC family, but she is my best friend. And I say that with so much pride because having that title means something. You know, that's that one person that knows you inside and out and has been through some journeys with you throughout life. While like we're a part of a bigger picture being here at the Miracle Center.
I mean, those two are just the dynamic duel in themselves. And with Anais, she went back to get her master's in social work, and that's what she's currently doing right now.
And she's always had that passion for the youth. So I knew when she said she was ready to finish her undergrad and then go into her master's for social work, I knew that was a perfect spot. But also adding her touch of dance, that's never gonna leave her because that's ingrained in the fiber of who she is.
We're proud, and I know that that's what the Miracle Center does. It not only cultivates relationships, it helps them become responsible and successful citizens, you know, and for the love of the arts.
So I know a lot of people at the Miracle Center go into the arts. I've never been a very good actress.
I don't think you'll see Sam on stage. Samantha actually was part of the Legal Eagles program.
One summer they launched a Legal Eagles program, and that really helped demystify a lot of the romanticized images of law that I had at that point, because I feel like at that point I had watched Law and Order and I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, but that's not really realistic. So it was a 6-week program that I really got to learn the ins and outs of the law, and we got to do a mock trial, and it really solidified my interest. So even though I'm not interested in theater, I feel like there is a place for everybody here, regardless of your interest.
She came in and she was like, I'm doing this. She was so super focused at that young of age. And she said, I'm gonna be an attorney and this is what I'm gonna do. And literally, she just stuck to it and she just graduated and she's now an attorney.
Once I start practicing litigation at a firm, I hope to be able to give back to the Miracle Center, provide them legal counsel where needed, and just really do good work for them.
She says, I want to come back home and I want to help. So her story is an amazing story, and we're super proud of Sam.
Going through the history of TMC, In the Heights was incredibly important.
Yo, that's my ball!
We've done like a lot of shows here, but you know, In the Heights was really at the heart of TMC.
Lights up, Paul Washington Heights up at the break of day. I wake up and I got this little punk I gotta chase away. Pop the break at the crack of dawn, scene while I wipe down the awning.
The construction of this place was not what you see today. It was very, very, very different.
You know, when we moved in 2014, we actually hired a contractor. We gave him about $50,000. So literally all of this was supposed to be done in 2014. And I'm just gonna be transparent here. It was pretty devastating because we were opening up with about 11 shows of In the Heights, and we had no windows. There were boards. He had pulled up all of our rugs, taken out all of our doors. And I remember that we were opening up for our VIP show, and it was just a disaster. And David Torres, he's one of our mentors here, he told the kids, listen, ladies, you know how you paint your nails? You do it like this, right? He goes, get a paintbrush and we're gonna paint the center. And here were the girls, you know, just painting the walls, and the guys were plastering. And then we had some of our students who actually did graffiti. They did the Chicago skyline on the windows, and they did In the Heights. They graffitied all of the center inside the theater. They graffitied the bathrooms. And since In the Heights is about Washington Heights in New York, people literally thought the aesthetics were part of the set. Little did they know that I was about to have a nervous breakdown, and the center was a hot mess, and here we were. So with that being said, we literally day in and day out have taken this center and one day at a time have fixed it up. That's why my brothers come up all the time. I always said if my brothers were here in Chicago, we wouldn't have to worry. And when we picked them up from the airport, it came with these capes on. They said reinforcement is here, and here we are. The center is looking spectacular. And so everything in this center has a story, and it's touched and made with love.
For In the Heights, I had no idea what I was in for the last show. I'll never forget Andrew Perez when he was singing Inútil, and he cried because the song talks about the father. He said, I feel useless. You know, and then you're backstage and you're like, my song is next. Andrew's crying. You know, it was genuine because it was like, this is the last time I'm gonna be on stage singing this song with my cast family. In my mind, I'm like, this is the last time we're singing this song together. This is the next scene. This is the last time we're singing as a group. You know, it's the last time I'm gonna hold your hand this way, or I'm gonna dance this way, or look at you this way, or say this line. So it was like you had to go on and take in the moment. And my moment was the song Champagne with my brother.
I know you bottles full champagne. No. Yeah, full champagne. Damn, the bottles all sweaty and everything. You went and got this champagne.
And it was just the way, like, we looked at each other like, man, what a ride we had. You know, what a joy it was. We were thanking each other without even saying thank you. And that was special. It was a journey to see all of us grow, but also to look at each other and know that we all played a role in TMC when we were younger. That's the best part, is that I remember Jonathan when he was 7, and now he's playing Sonny at 22.
Sonny, don't act like you don't hear me.
State your purpose.
My brother, Quito, he started when he was 3. At the time, he was 23, playing Usnavi. So it was like, we did it together.
And if you know the story about In the Heights, it's about Abuela Claudia who passes away. So there's a backstory to that. In 2009, my mom passed away. And I had no clue what In the Heights was about. So about 5 days later, we ended up going to see In the Heights. So here we are, there's about 7 of us, and we're literally just bawling. I mean, it was so traumatic, but it was also amazing at the same time. So it was a twofold in terms of that story, because it was dear to my heart because of my mom, and then dear to my heart because finally after 15 years, you know, we had our own home.
At the end of the show, the grate comes down, which is Abuela Claudia. And I spoke to the director and the set designer, and I said, let's honor Mary's mom. Nobody else knew. The cast did not know. So this was about 6 weeks in the making. That last show, we brought it in through the back, and right before we got on stage, the director told the cast, hey, when you guys roll the grate down, it's gonna be Mary's mom, and we wanna make sure we pause and take a moment.
What to do? It's on this morning. Yo, cuz, we fixed the grate.
Oh, that just blew me away, because I was all the way in the back, and normally at the end of the show I come up, and all of a sudden, you know, they say pull the grate down, and here it comes, and it's my mom. So you hear me scream. I go, ah, like that. I didn't expect it at all.
And I was off stage, so I was with her in the back and just holding her. They were recording for her family in Florida as well. You know, I know that Grandma Alicia meant so much, not just to Mary and her family, because they're their mother and, you know, grandchildren, so many, but she was the matriarch of TMC.
You did this last night? Yeah. There goes my flight.
When we sang We're Home, that was We Were Home. That transformed my life. Not only did it transform my life, I think it transformed my staff's life.
And it was a pivotal moment because we saw that. You know, the whole life of Miracle Center, the dreams become a reality. This was a show that really told the story of our community, of us together.
Because we had been to so many different communities and so many different homes, and I always wondered, like, man, God, why don't we have our own home yet? And I realized that I was in so many different places with my staff, with these kids. We learned so many things. We realized that it wasn't for that time. It wasn't the time for the Miracle Center to have our home. The time is now, and we were like, we're home.
To me, In the Heights is more than just a play or a musical or the soundtrack. It's the story behind it, but it was built as our story.
TMC was alive, we were home. We knew that big things were gonna come out of this place, and we knew that new works were gonna come out of this place. So something happened that night like never before. I just felt like my mom was saying, everything's gonna be okay, Mary, no matter what.
And we brought her on stage. You know, the song of home, it was all of us, and it's just embracing her and just thanking her. I remember my brother just grabbing her and just like holding on to her so tight.
It was such a precious moment for me, and I knew right there and then that the Miracle Center would never be the same.
Every time I come to Chicago, I come to the Miracle Center. Last time I was here, I did a Q&A with all the students who participate. This is an extraordinary organization. It started in Ray Santana's basement, and now it is expanding. And that speaks to the incredible need and the incredible void it fills.
Mary. That's your photography.
I fell in love with this program when I came to an event and saw some of the students perform. And I noticed in the audience the night I was here, politicians, elected officials, others, the message gets out, they understand the importance.
And we're extremely grateful. And the reason the message gets out is because we invite them to come into our home to see exactly what we're doing here.
When you walk into a facility and you see the kids interacting, whether it be black, white, Latino, all working together with smiles on their faces, proves to what we're trying to do and keep young adults off the street.
I mean, you go and you attend and you realize this amazing show was put on by essentially kids, and kids from this community. It's a proud thing.
When you come into the Miracle Center and you sit here and you see a show and experience it, then absolutely you want to get involved. Not because of me, but what's happening and transpiring in the lives of these young people.
Places like this are so essential. I just saw a little bit of Shrek, and I swear it was like a Broadway production. I'm not even kidding you. I literally sat here at the Miracle Center and saw these 3 amazing young women. I felt like I was at a Broadway show.
What is it about a celebrity's life that they look at the work you're doing here and they say, that matters, I need to be a part of it?
I think when they meet Vanessa and I, we're so passionate about what we do and the importance of arts education in our community. I think even with Justina being a Chicago native, she was telling us, I wish there was a place like the Miracle Center when I grew up. And they just see what we're doing here is very important, especially with the violence in Chicago, keeping the kids off the street. I think they want to get involved. She wants to give back. She sees Justina and maybe Ilani. She sees Justina and maybe Isabella, and making sure that she shows them that they can become just like her.
I was born and raised in this fabulous city, Chicago. Yes.
I think that it's a wonderful place to start, Chicago, and especially if you love theater. It's an incredible place to start.
I mean, those 3 girls, fantastic. And the chorus, amazing. I can't believe this talent here. And I will say, if it weren't for places like the Miracle Center, I don't know where I would be. And
I had been to 6 different schools by the time I was 10 years old. We moved around a lot. We did not have a lot of money. If it wasn't for art, if it wasn't for places like this, where would I find art? I don't know where I would have found out. I really don't.
Because where would a little Puerto Rican girl like me that grew up in the hood, like really, find art? So it's amazing to me.
Art changes lives. You know, art gives you new perspective. Art expands your horizons.
Arts education is the silver bullet for folks like us. Tenemos más sabor than anyone knows what to do with, and it belongs on stage.
I'm a living example of how theater arts can change someone's life.
But I was very lucky in that I had a school with arts funding and arts education, and that is increasingly under attack and is increasingly in decline, which is what makes places like the Miracle Center so important. They fill a void that is being created when we don't support arts funding and arts education.
Right now that we're going through our tough financial times through government, I really would invite other elected officials and other agencies to come and really look at what the Miracle Center is bringing to our community and the kids.
And it's not about every kid being here going into the arts.
Even if you don't go into theater, even if these kids don't go on to be Broadway actors, what you learn about collaboration, what you learn about community, what you learn about being a part of something greater than yourself and pulling together to create something extraordinary.
I see the mission of the Miracle Center taking someone out of its shell, a quiet kid from the community that might not know much of the arts or just has some interest, and coming there and finding a family, allowing them to find their voice and their skills, be it as a dancer, an actor, or someone in production behind the scenes. They allow them to grow. That can be seen at these productions.
It makes your entire education stronger. It's not just about the arts, it's the rising tide that lifts all ships. So this place is indispensable.
It gives you a sense of pride, and you can speak in front of people, and it just gives you a lot of confidence. So all of these things are really important.
Those are lessons that will go with you the rest of your life. And so it's an extraordinary thing the Miracle Center here does for these kids, and I'm proud to support them, and I think everyone should.
Mary started the Miracle Center out of a dream to help her son.
The perspective that I have of my mother, as I've seen her grow over the years,
I would hope he would say that he's proud of me, but I don't know.
her having me at such a young age, yes, we had a mother-son relationship, but we were also very much friends. So when she would have a bad day, I felt it. When she would have a good day, I felt it. So it's a lot of pride. It's a lot of pride. I'm very proud of her. To see so many doors and to see so many people just embracing her over all these years, I'm very proud of her, not just as a mother, but as a person.
I was 18 when I had my son, and I wouldn't have thought this was what I would have been doing. I mean, I didn't finish college at the time, but then I went back to school and I graduated with my bachelor's degree on Mother's Day, and then my son graduated the following week with his bachelor's, and then he went on and got his master's in poli-sci, and now he's traveling the world doing leadership workshops. And so he's an entrepreneur, and I'm an entrepreneur, but it didn't start that way because times were tough. But here we are, 23 years later. I'm making an impact in the community and making an impact in the lives of all these young people and making an impact even in the lives of adults that want to do theater, that want to come back, that feel hopeless. Here is a place where they can call home, but here is a place where they can feel important and wanted.
So this bridges with my current position and how I still partner with the Miracle Center till this day. My job as a social worker, I was able to work in the community high school that was in this community where the Miracle Center is at. And one of the students was dealing with her own mental health and depression and anxiety and even suicidal ideation. And when I was able to have individual sessions with her, I was able to learn that she was a very creative person. She loved dancing, she loved the theater, she loved performing arts. And so I knew I needed to bring her to this space. And I was like, you need to get connected to the Miracle Center, because I knew that this was a safe space where she could just be free to release. And she was in many of the productions that were here. And I was able to see her growth. I used to come to all the shows that she was in, and I saw life again. And you see purpose flowing through her. And she was whole.
We are absolutely saving lives here at the Miracle Center. It's home to a lot of kids. It's home for us. We were embraced.
The Miracle Center is built around that family dynamic.
Words cannot express what we feel for the baby of our family. And through Mary's diligence, is that we have a theater.
Mary started with just a dream and has grown it into this huge, beautiful thing that it is today out of quite literally nothing. She made her dream come true.
Ever since I was young, it was always about her being able to add value to other people's lives. That's what it's always been about.
It's strengthening my skills, of course, and then it's also teaching me to be just a better person.
Because I have the Miracle Center, I'm more social. I'm actually interacting with people, dancing, just having fun, being me.
The Miracle Center uplifts you to become the person truly that's inside of you.
The fact that we are able to provide a program like that is really incredible.
Being involved in the Miracle Center was really formative for me, primarily because of the doors that it opened for me with regard to really solidifying my decision.
That's how I started really changing as a person and really how I take pictures.
And here we are. He's going to be a phenomenal photographer, and he wants to go to Columbia College.
The importance of the Miracle Center being in this community was access for me to learn, to grow, and if it wasn't here, I wouldn't know who I am. I wouldn't know that success is attainable. I wouldn't have known that if the Miracle Center wasn't here.
Many of our kids are limited or told that you can't do certain things. Miracle Center does the opposite. It says, let us allow you to dream those dreams and show you that you can do a lot no matter where you're from. And you can travel the world from just a stage. That's what the Miracle Center does.
This is my community. These are mi gente. These are our kids. We're telling our story.
It's a portal into which stories get told and which stories don't. And it's an invitation to tell your own story. And I know that we get to tell our own stories here at the Miracle Center.
What an incredible path these young people are on, and it's a journey to their ultimate success. Here at the Miracle Center, everybody works to make sure that these young people unleash their potential and focus it in whatever direction is important to them. In many ways, that is a miracle. It may be why the very best name for this place is what it is, the Miracle Center. I'm Paul Lisnek, and for all of us at Comcast, thank you for watching.